So think, very simple, common knowledge. There is no big theory of class.
In order to counter China, because USA and China, their relationship is in a Cold War situation. So in order to counter China, because Asia also includes China. So that's why in order to counter China, in order to be in opposition to China, means in order to avoid China and to create a certain different kind of grouping, that's why Indo Pacific concept is arising.
To contain China, who created this Indo Pacific concept? Who is trying to contain? USA.
Yes, you're right. Especially trying to.
But how can USA contain China by evolving a concept like Indo Pacific? You are making sense, whatever you are saying. I'm just trying to make it more convincing to you. Why is it that they want to make it Indo Pacific to contain China?
Because in Asia, India is the second major player after China. So they want to portray India as the major player, because India is a kind of a swing state between USA and China at the present moment. So they want to make they want to highlight the importance of India in the region. That's why they are more concerned about Indo Pacific, and it also includes Australia and other important developing nations, developing states.
Very good. Okay, the goal is to contain China, right? In what way Indian Ocean would be relevant? Why Indian Ocean?
So in contemporary times, oceans have become very important, like other factors like geographical factor or national interest. Oceans have become in contemporary times very important. Like in the ancient times, we know that everything, whether it's about trade or investment, it was everything happening through the waterways. But in the contemporary times, the waterways have become very important, like the airways and roadways.
Yes.
Sir, China trade basically Indian Ocean तार trade main center point. ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ କନସେପ୍ଟ ଆରାଇଯାଇଛି ମଲାକା ଡିଲେମା। ତ ସେ ଚାଇନାର ଏନର୍ଜି ସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟି ପାଇଁ ଏବଂ ତା ଟ୍ରେଡ୍ ସିକ୍ୟୁରିଟି ପାଇଁ ସେ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ ଓସେନ୍ରେ ତାର ଇନଫ୍ଲୁଏନ୍ସ ବଢ଼େଇବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି। ତ ଯଦି ବି ଚାଇନାକୁ କାଉଣ୍ଟର କରିବାକୁ ପଡ଼େ ତ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ ଓସେନ୍ରେ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ରୋକିପାରିବା। ଯଦି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ ଓସେନ୍ରେ ରୋକିପାରିବା ତ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆର ରୋଲ୍ ସେଠି ବହୁତ ଅଧିକ। ତ ୟୁଏସ୍ଏ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆକୁ ବେଟର ଫିଲ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ତ ତାର ଯେଉଁ ଏସିଆ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଟେଜିକ୍ ପଲିସିକୁ ଇଣ୍ଡୋ ପାସିଫିକ୍ ନାଁରେ ଚେଞ୍ଜ କରି
Credit goes to student and teacher also.
So we want to know beyond our knowledge. That's why we are enthusiastically waiting for you.
Okay. It's a huge topic. Great to that. So I'll just make a few points. Then you raise your comments and I'll be more interested in comments also. Because I want to learn from you. At the moment, it's true, all of you are right. India has emerged as a global player. And the US intends to maintain a new kind of balance of power in Asia. In the Asia Pacific concept, India was away. When India applied for membership of APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum, the membership was denied to India. So Asia Pacific definition stopped at Myanmar border. Did not come. But the moment you expand it further to the West, then the role of India becomes dominant. And China would never like India to be part of any mechanism. Because why China would not like, they are a big part. Needing. So think. Suppose you are Chinese and the Americans are trying to prop up India. What is your complaint? If you want to contain China in the whole of Asia, there is no second option. which has the potential to match China in terms of size, in terms of population, resources, political leadership in war affairs, even military capabilities. So potentially India is a very big bet. If India can be USA and other countries, it would be easier to contain and constrain China. That's why. Simple, balance of power. The way we want, for instance, with Afghanistan, to balance Pakistan. With Afghanistan on the other side. So, if India was isolated, non-aligned, economically still backward, nobody would look at India. But because of India's size, India's credential as a potential partner to manage China's growth was considered important. Right? Now, the moment Indo-Pacific concept evolved, initially even India was hesitant to be part of it. Manmohan Singh, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, going to Japan and using the term Asia Pacific. But since the Modi government came to power, they accepted Indo-Pacific as a new concept, a strategic concept, a new design to understand international relations in this particular way. Right? The United States has already published an Indo-Pacific strategy report. Japan has done that. India has articulated the position in Shangri-La statement by the Prime Minister. The European Union, which is a little far away from this part of the world, even the European Union has brought up a strategy, Indo-Pacific strategy. Australia has one, Japan has one. Korea at the moment is preparing one. I talked to the defense industry, we discussed. They are preparing a report on Indo-Pacific. ASEAN was not very comfortable. They thought the moment you talk about Indo-Pacific, the ASEAN centrality will vanish. Whether it is East Asia Summit, whether it is ARF, ASEAN Regional Forum, whether it is ASEAN Dialogue Partnership, ASEAN Ministerials, they were playing the government role in a way, setting the agenda, organizing meetings, interacting with power. But the moment we talk about Indo-Pacific, ASEAN leaders thought that they would be marginalized. But now even ASEAN has brought out a report on Indo-Pacific. ASEAN outlook on Indo-Pacific. You can search and you'll get it. The two countries, the major powers, two major powers which are not accepting the concept of Indo-Pacific are Russia and China. Even now, China thinks, very rightly you said, that this is nothing but a move, a strategic move to contain China. And why we need Indo-Pacific? Partly they were jealous, partly they did not want India to come up. But they also think that China is isolated. When I talk to the Chinese, I say, why don't you join? You yourself is saying it is not a relevant concept. And they are complaining that you are isolated. When I talk to the Chinese, interlocutors. But the fact remains that they are not comfortable with this because they think this is a new mechanism to contain China's growth and influence. Russia is no longer getting along with the USA. From the Ukraine war, you can see a new kind of mini Cold War evolving. And in that mini Cold War, China is supporting Russia. So Russia is also opposed to Indo-Pacific, thinking that it has no role. Russia was happy being part of APAC and East Asia Summit and ARF and all that. What is this Indo-Pacific? The Americans and the Indians are coming up with something new. What Russians and the the Chinese and it feel isolated, not cared for. So the moment two major powers don't accept this and consider this concept as a mechanism to contain them, it is quite obvious that there will be turbulence. If they would accept, yes, there is such a mechanism of further growth of political cooperation, economic cooperation, social exchanges, educational exchanges, there was no problem. But they think it in terms of their Cold War mentality. When the Quad, whatever Quad, Quadrilateral Security Initiative picked up, it is part of the Indo Pacific. And Quad also talks about Indo Pacific. So the Chinese appear to be convinced that Quad is four countries. Now they talk about four, diamond of democracy. And what is the idea? Why four? Why not five? Why not six? Pakka, the target is China. So they appear to be convinced about it. At the moment, there is tremendous amount of turbulence in the region. Indo-Pacific is the region which is going to drive world politics from now onwards. The European Union is facing severe challenges. The Eurozone crisis, the pandemic, now the energy crisis. In the last 500 years, Europe never saw the rivers drying up. And even the Americans, they think the real economic dynamism of further global growth is in the Indo-Pacific region. Japan, Korea, China, India, Taiwan, ASEAN, the growth areas, not Africa, not Latin America, not Antarctica, not Europe. That is Indo-Pacific. Now, in this particular region, when there is turbulence, it will affect not only the economic growth and political stability and peace in the region, it will affect global politics. So I thought I'll interact with you on the turbulence and whether there are opportunities for India or there are challenges for India, what is India doing, is India doing the right thing, just interact. Two significant developments taking place right now are the Ukraine crisis and the Taiwan crisis. The same two countries which think that this is a mechanism of the Americans and the Indians along with the Japanese and Australians to have their influence spread out and contain China and Russia indirectly. These two countries are involved in creating turbulence in Ukraine and in Taiwan. So we can see some kind of mini Cold War going on in the Eurasian landmass as well as in the Indo Pacific. Now, what is the challenge for India in the first one, Ukraine crisis? Do you think India is facing a challenge? Do you agree with the government of India's position on Ukraine? What is the position? Are we with the USA? Are we with Russia? Are we with anyone? You know, Russia is one of the important strategic partners of India. And the United States is the new strategic partner. When the two strategic partners are fighting on themselves, it becomes difficult for us. If it is a simple land area, in that land area, this side you have Kit and this Lorenzo and then the US and the Euro, and two are fighting, there is no problem. But at that level, when we are having deep relationship with both, and both of them would expect India to support them, then it becomes a problem. So India faced a major challenge, how to work. And we are walking the tightrope, holding the balance. And what is the tightrope? Why do you think that we are facing a challenge? We are buying Russian oil. Americans don't like it. We did not condemn Russia's aggression. Americans don't like it. We went and held a military exercise in Vladivostok the other day.
Yes.
And Americans don't like it. Modi has just come back from Samarkand, a CEO summit, standing next to Xi Jinping and not talking. Americans don't like it. Americans impose sanctions on Russia. We are trying to manage all of it. Not using dollar, but by using ruble and rupee as exchange currency. Do the Russians like it? Indian position. They are making money, selling oil. Why should they complain? Simply by condemning Russia, what do you gain and what do you lose? They know that India and China cannot support a war like that in Ukraine. Even ethically, politically, why should somebody support war? Prime Minister Modi goes and tells Putin, war no good, this is not the era of war. And he's telling this when he is shooting the Ukrainians. So Putin says, "Who have I to advise you?" So he doesn't like this. In the meantime, India is buying Russian weapons as 400. Americans have cuts up, right? And the sanctions is hanging over the head. Anytime it can fall. Americans are not imposing sanctions on India. They impose sanctions on Turkey, which is NATO member, on same as Poland. Americans did not want India to buy oil from Russia. But now saying, all right, India needs energy, they are buying, it's okay. Because our foreign minister is saying, we are buying that much of oil which is bought every afternoon by the European countries. Why are you complaining? You can buy oil, but we cannot. What kind of policy is this? So in a way, India is not trying to take sides. India is not condemning the Russian aggression, but at the same time, India has sent humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. And recently also India abstained, opposed Russian against one of the UN resolutions. In other words, India has actually a luxury of taking a position which appears to be supporting our policy of strategic autonomy, which is in the interest of India, and which is not directly challenging either part. Right? Even the Americans and the Russians are still cooperating on space programs. So, a country like India, which is starving for energy, cannot be asked not to buy energy. In other words, Indian diplomacy has been able or has succeeded in convincing the Europeans and the Americans that we are doing something which are crucial, critical for our own survival and prosperity. We are buying S-400 because we are not given us that kind of insight. And the Chinese are sitting around the LAC We need S-400 to defend ourselves. If you think that you want to be a partner and you don't care about our defense, then sorry, you can say sorry. So in a way, India has been trying really hard to keep the Indo-US partnership on the rail and keep Russia on the right side. It's not that if S-400 would not come, then India would collapse. It's not that the Russians don't sell cheap oil, we have no other source. It's not there. But remember this one. The reason why India does not want to go against Russia is because Russia was providing us the balance to deal with China earlier. And now the Russians and the Chinese are apparently coming together against the West. So if we distance ourselves from Russia, then one of our strategic support to balance China's aggression will be lost. And we cannot get that kind of support from the US. In a way, the Americans understand. They don't talk about it, but they understand that if Russia can be pally-pally with India, which China would not like to see, in a way, it can also lead to a little bit of wedge between the Russians and the Chinese. So it's a big strategic thinking that is going on. And in international politics of today, unlike during the Cold War time, you cannot have a black and white picture, either this or that. You cannot have either or kind of solution. The large chunk of politics is in the gray area. And many countries will take position without saying just yes or no, with us or against us. There are so many other ways of finding it. The bigger challenge for India, Ukraine is somewhere there, Americans are imposing sanctions, they're not directly fighting with the Russians, and now the Ukrainians are also giving them very low in some of the places. The day-long battle is going on. And we have succeeded in convincing America, don't push us too much if you want to remain part. But the real problem for India is the turbulent waters of the Pacific, particularly in Taiwan. But that's not only Taiwan. In the largest South China Sea area, the Chinese are expanding their influence, declaring almost 90% of the waters in the South China Sea as part of Chinese sovereignty. And India cannot accept it. Nobody can. But India was tight-lipped about South China Sea for a long time. We didn't say much. In fact, our real engagement with the Asia Pacific began with activists first. Locusts began, activists began to act. Now we realize that 55% of Indian trade moved through South China Sea. Now the government has realized that blue economy is going to sustain your economic activities in the future. Then what about blue economy? Blue economy is basically the economic activities on and through and under the ocean. Coastal security, coastal development, uninterrupted trade, then you have the cables for communication. So the blue economy is now the key. At the moment, almost 4% of India's GDP comes from blue economy. But in the future, it will expand into 50 and 70%. If that is the case, how can we tolerate the Chinese controlling and claiming sovereignty over 90% of the waters? Because now ke vaste, they claim it's still okay. But they have been reclaiming islands. as per the international law, island will be above the ocean floor, the ocean waters. Chinese are putting sand, stone, and the underwater atoll and other things are coming up. And they're saying this belongs to China. And the moment you have that little island under your sovereignty, then you will say, come here, our territorial waters, 12 nautical miles. Then you have exclusive economic zone. That means South China Sea, the whole world will be theirs. That's whatever. Okay, you reclaim island, still tolerable. Then you build naval facilities there, runway. It's a problem. In Americans don't accept. Last time I was there, I think I talked about the game of chicken. One American helicopter, army helicopter would come and hover around the island. The Chinese guy would say, move, this is Chinese space. They would say, no, this is American, this is international. This side the American ship, this side the Chinese ship, front to front, about to fight. And more recently, last week, the American ships violated, as per the Chinese complaint, the territorial waters of China. So other countries in the region, including India, are worried if these two guys will start fighting. The impact of turbulence will be felt elsewhere in very many forms. What to do about it? And what is India's position? You will not find many articles on India's position, but let me explain a little bit just to finish my mind. South China Sea is important for India, for blue economy, for our trade and energy resources. When we go to South China Sea and try to explore oil and other natural resources in the Vietnamese water, the Chinese become angry and they say, don't do this. Because they think that water belongs not to Vietnam or to China. But we have clear energy, economic, trade and other interests in the region. For a long time, our leaders would not even say a word about something. But now, at different levels, India has picked up South China Sea issue. One, at the bilateral level with the United States. South China Sea now figures in the joint statement, Indo-US joint statement when our Prime Minister and the President meet. It was not there before. In QUAD, Quadrilateral Initiative, freedom of navigation, rule-based order, maritime security, all are figuring in South China Sea and East China Sea. And India is a member of QUAD. In East Asia Summit, which is a multilateral body. Bilateral, quadrilateral, no, multilateral body. When South China Sea issues are debated and discussed, we are part of that. The Indian was, what is that? Indian Ocean Initiative. Indian Ocean Initiative by Narendra Modi and the ASEAN Outlook. Recently we had an international conference on that, and people found out that even there India and ASEAN are together in talking about freedom of navigation, peaceful resolution of disputes, maintaining maritime security, uninterrupted movement of trade through the sea lanes, safety of sea lanes. So indirectly or directly, India is now directly having a position on South China Sea. Not confronting directly, but showing our interest, expressing our concerns, which is something new. If South China Sea becomes more and more turbulent, it is going to affect our economy as well. Not only that, at a very piecemeal level, India has begun to have defense relationship with a few countries, Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. It is not only defense relationship. India has started to sell BrahMos missile. Philippines has bought it. And after the recent Taiwan crisis, Vietnam is now negotiating. Negotiations are going on with Indonesia for the last several months. Malaysia has shown interest. So this is something new. India's selling weapons. That means what? First, we look east, then we accept east, we became a full dialogue partner and ministerial dialogue partner with ASEAN, then we became full member of East Asia Summit, we are member of ARF, and now building defense ties, security relationship, selling weapons, talking about blue economy, and focusing more on South China Sea disputes. So this is how India is trying to face the challenges and trying very hard to navigate in the turbulent waters in the region. Last point, South China Sea, Taiwan. If you remember, the Chinese reaction to Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan was rather very disproportionate. One lady comes and talks to another lady in South China Sea, Taiwan, and you hold live military drills surrounding Taiwan, literally blockading it. If a little puppy, they go, you going to kill it? But the Chinese are angry because they are convinced that Taiwan is part of them and nobody is China. And when I link up the turbulent land warfare going on in Ukraine to the turbulent waters of the Indo Pacific, now this is the link. The link is many countries in the Indo Pacific were worried about the way China approached the Ukraine crisis. A few weeks before the attack on Ukraine began, Putin was there in Beijing, and these two dictators were whispering on something. And later, China openly opposed the sanctions regime of the West. But the real problem is, before the Ukraine crisis, China and the US were already having an economic war. Remember, tariffs. And now, the Ukraine crisis, the American response, Chinese activities angered the West further. So, ASEAN countries, small countries, South Korea, Japan, India, all were worried. If Putin could get away with Ukraine, it's already 9 months. Will China do the same in Taiwan? Was in everybody's mind. Because the Americans are too deeply involved with Russia, if at the same time China would do, then it will be difficult for the US to confront the two powers at the same time. Secondly, China has told hundreds of countries, persuaded them, pressurized them, to write them to say there is only one China. और आप लोग एक एक देश होते बहुत परेशान हैं. China give money and say there is only one China. Even the US believes there is only one. But gives weapons to Taiwan to defend itself. And the Chinese think, what kind of one China? You say one China and practice two China. So, in the midst of the Taiwan crisis, when China made the foreign ministers, presidents, prime minister of other countries, yet again make a statement about one China policy. Our foreign minister said, why should I repeat? When you say, why should I repeat? Basically you are saying our policy is also same. But what was the harm in repeating? It was strategic signaling. I will not know the clothes of other countries. Yes, it is there. What do you want us to say again? Indirectly signaling to China that we are annoyed just for it is the policy. What all you are doing in Yangon, Delhi, and other places. Now the big question, whether Taiwan will be invaded. If that happens, then what will happen to other countries in the region? What do you think? Will there be an invasion of Taiwan? If you were the Chinese, would you go and cover up Taiwan? So,
I think no, sir. Because in the day China economically बहुत practical से केवल चाइना में गोटे जेतेबेले से माने गोटे इकोनॉमिक कोल्ड वॉर भीतर अछि तो से केवल चाइना में माने ताइवान में से गोटे जेमिति ना यूक्रेन में रशिया फसी रहि जायछि तो से केवल चाइना में ताइवान में से गोटे वार रे फसी के से इकोनॉमिकली ता डेवलपमेंट रोकु
it's not an astrological question. What? Think. When you think, you can write better in your exam paper, and when you do research, and write an article. Think. Imagine, it's a big country China, a small country Taiwan. They think Taiwan is part of China. The Taiwanese think the mainland belongs to them. Because my little bit of saying the whole body is mine. And I am saying this is mine. Will they do what? Suppose they do what? What happens? What happens? If China goes and occupies Taiwan, what will happen?
जेतेबेले चाइना ये करबो तापर जापान गुआठु निहाती आसीबो काहेना जापान रो भी स्ट्रेटजी की ऑटोनॉमी पर गोटे क्वेश्चन आसीबो तापर ता ऊपर सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट आसीबो तार वार ताइवान सेमीकंडक्टर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग रे सबटो टॉप रे अछि जेतु तो माने वार जो टेक्निकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग रे वार माने जो वार इकोनॉमी रे गोटे हैम्पर करबो तो सेथि में सेरा गोटे मेजर एस्पेक्ट रो इकोनॉमिकली देन साउथ चाइना से जेमती कहले इंडिया रो ट्रेड प्राय तो 55% होची तो वर्ल्ड ट्रेड रो भी चाइना जे गोटे वर्ल्ड फैक्ट्री में बहुत मैन्युफैक्चरिंग रे तो यूक्रेन रशिया वार जति की वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी हैम्पर होती तार 100 टाइम्स अधिक अफेक्ट होगा तो एमती की वर्ल्ड रिसेशन में जाई पारे माने इकोनॉमिकल डिप्रेशन में जाई
Will China there?
Yes, sir. China also there.
First with money, Americans are declining. They have already announced that by certain year, 100 years of PRC, unification has to take place. Otherwise it will be losing face.
So there is a proverb, China planning like that. China always declare but not do.
So why China would use tank against the students in 1989. Tank, Dandavini, the same time. Now banks, there is a banking crisis. When people go to get their own money, people जो office करो, बैंक को उसका पुलिस भेज के मारता है। Can you really trust the Chinese?
No.
62 war, 69 war, Russia, Korean war in 1950s, capturing Parasalam and Turkey Islands, in 70s. It is difficult to predict. It is good to analyze, but difficult to predict. But let me give you some of my theories. These are logical. It is logical, may not be true, we never know. But we have to analyze. There is a small country called Cuba. Cuba is 89 kilometers from Florida, USA. For almost 60-70 years, they are having a leftist rule there. And the Americans were trying to contain communism everywhere and failed in Cuba. Even now. But America has so much of power that in 24 hours they can go and just bomb it out of it. But they are not doing it. Why? Because of the reasons you say. If it is so easy, then as the one German guy told me in the airport once, India is a big country, Maldives is a small country, why is Maldives a big country? Things don't happen that way. They have to analyze the cost of an operation, and the cost could be. They may not be direct invasion of like, but there are activities. One, if I want this bottle of water to be mine, and I want to capture it, should I go and poke it with a knife so the water spills? And what do I do with the water? China wants a prosperous Taiwan to be part of it, not a war damaged, completely destroyed Taiwan island. So they are waiting. What's the long time? And then the way sanctions were imposed on Russia, Russian economy was affected very badly. Russia is revengeful and imposing all kinds of restrictions on energy supply. But its economy has been affected very badly. Chinese economy, which is now grown into second largest in the world, do you think the country will quietly do business with China? No. There will be a certain amount of reversion, economic sanctions, maintaining distance. Small countries in the neighborhood will say, will there be a domino effect? Today Taiwan and later some other country, Brunei or something. That fear is there. What should China gain by doing this? So logically thinking, they may not go. In terms of pure military analysis, Taiwan is a big country. China is a gully. It's not going to be easy, logically. Although theoretically it's very easy, go and form. So many missiles were fired. Not into Taiwan but above Taiwan. However, the fear is this, and I'm giving you an information which is not available now. This is from a conference that we had. Advisor to Prime Minister Abe, Indo Abe, was there in the meeting. And I asked him this question, Taiwan. The way he described, it is going to be relatively easy for China to control Taiwan, and the world cannot do much. We are not talking about sanctions and all those things, all the points we made. But literally, if China does something, can anyone prevent it? Can the US prevent it? He said no. Then the picture that he gave is very interesting. Taiwan's linkage with the rest of the world is through under the sea cables or maybe your internet. So China can very easily cut off those cables and there will be total connectivity in darkness. The world will not even know what's going on. Taiwan can't even appeal. But he said China may not do that. What is possible is China may try to engineer a regime change in Taiwan. The current political party is in favor of independence. not everybody else. Other people have tremendous amount of stake in China. They've invested billions and billions of dollars in China. Billions. Largest source of Chinese foreign investment from Taiwan, not from America or Europe. They sell so many things. China can punish them simply by not buying them, and then encourage people who don't think about independence. This is what they did in Hong Kong. They waited for such a long time. They did not destroy Hong Kong. They did not attack on Hong Kong. They waited for 50 years. Signed an agreement. There were two China, two different systems, one China. But today, this is impossible. And if that happens, already majority of the countries recognize Taiwan as part of China. Only 7, 8, 9, 10 countries are there. We suppose Taiwan will be. It will not. But it will send a very bad message. Finally, I would like to hear you finally just briefly and say another thing which is creating underwater turbulence, but not below the water, is BRI. Belt and Road Initiative. What about it? You saw what happened in Sri Lanka? Chinese money came, built a port. Sri Lanka could not subject the loan, had an agreement. In 99 years, China will run the port. In so many other countries, such a fear is creating. Now, of course, there is a reaction. Because we want open, transparent, environment-friendly agreements, not the kind of agreement Beijing is pushing through different kinds of regimes. Money given, no question asked, and they don't have any talent. With Chinese money, Chinese capital, Chinese, everything will come, and later they become part of literally a kind of colony. An imperial power like China can become, can run colonies of different kinds. Imperialism and colonialism with Chinese characteristics. This is also a game. Let me end here so that I would like to hear your voice.
But with the developing possibility in the future, China may annex Taiwan. Is there any possibility of separate debate from the Chinese? We are not going to the next.
China is vulnerable. Potential. Okay, but Inner Mongolia, Taiwan, even Yunnan. In 2000 years of Chinese history, there have been ups and downs. Very powerful central authority, and then so many different independent republics popping up. So there is a possibility. Nobody can say no, never on any issue. What to do? China may crack down. Not like the Soviet Union, but I mentioned Inner Mongolia, so many other minority groups are there. So who knows? So long as the economy is doing well, and the Communist Party is still having millions of followers, and they have the military ability, they will try to prevent something. But the reason why I am saying yes is because even Soviet Union has such a powerful military. Would it protect the territorial integrity of the Soviet Union? No. It cracked up. Papad जैसे बन गए, 15 different reports. Like Papad, military could not. When the economy is doing well, fine. It's very easy. Right now, China's economy has slowed down. China has a banking crisis. More serious real estate crisis. Billions of dollars Evergreen and so many other companies are sinking in debt. They are going out of business. There are ghost towns. Nobody is buying those houses. And they have energy crisis. They stopped buying Australian coal because Australia said Wuhan virus. And now there are so many factories closing down with no energy, no electricity in China. China's debt is very huge. People only talk about China's GDP. Debt is very huge. So you never know. If the economic falters, even the military and the party will not be able to control it. At the moment, the situation, and if it continues, nothing would happen. People will be suppressed, oppressed, and expected. But nobody is in the future. Or we cannot rule out that.
सर अभी पाकिस्तान को अमेरिका 400 मिलियन देला F-16 ର मेंटेनेंस ପାଇଁ ତ ମାନେ ସେ ଚାହୁଁଛି କି କେମିତି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆକୁ ବି ବେଟର କରିକି ରଖିଦେବେ କି ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ସେ ବି କିଛି ଅପସନ୍ ଅଛି ଟୁ କାଉଣ୍ଟର ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ତ ଆମେରିକାର ତ ଆମେରିକା ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରଷ୍ଟେବଲ୍ ପାର୍ଟନର ଇନ୍ ରିଏଲ୍
When you grow up, you'll find that nobody is trustworthy. बाप बेटे का लड़ाई जमीन को लेके, भाई बहन में लड़ाई on small thing, पान क्यों नहीं मेरा? So many people use this term. Is America trustworthy? Who is trustworthy? It's all interest. The relationship is not in society. The relationship between countries is based on pure, fully calculated interest. So let us not talk about trust. But Pakistan is a rapidly failing state with nuclear weapons. In Samarkand, what is his name? Sharif, Shahbaz Sharif, is saying that Pakistan is so badly affected by floods and large chunk of territory is flooded and it's affecting agriculture, oil and gas situation. Pradhanmantri Modi goes and said, we want to offer aid to Pakistan. At one time, America was using food as a weapon against India. Support us in Vietnam and then we'll give you food aid even if you are having famine. Now we are surplus in food production. So they can't do anything about it. We buy weapons from America, $20 billion in last 12-15 years. But we keep on buying Russian weapons, German weapons, Israeli weapons, French weapons, British weapons. So India is not as vulnerable to America as Pakistan is. Pakistan economy is in terrible shape. Pandemic has really hit the economy very badly. And then there is a political crisis there. Army is still sitting on the sideline, the government will be too. So the Americans know how to play with Pakistan. And all this $400 million, this is another thing you must know. When you read, America gave this much of assistance to country A, suddenly we think, $400 million check दे दिया, $1 in not even $1. How it happens? If some spare part is to be given, American spare part will come. If the aircraft will be serviced, American technicians will come. It is basically a loan, and Pakistan will have to repay it. They cannot use the same money to help the flood victims. Every $1 that goes out of America, every $1 that goes out of America, they get back $4. That's all. But India is less vulnerable than Pakistan. Any other? Go on, April.
So India's foreign policy is based on strategic autonomy, and India is going for multiple alignments. So sir, how this is going to affect India's position in Indo Pacific? What are the threats due to this multiple? Because we know there are many pros to it, very many advantages to it. But what are the threats and that can affect India's position due to this multiple alignment policy that is focused on?
This is multiple alignment for into the near future that we can visualize will work positively. Why is that? Because it is very unlikely that we are going to face a Cold War of the kind we faced for 40 years, when it was black and white completely. But now, we must be reading of complex interdependence. Countries are so interdependent with one another, and the problem affecting the whole globe needs the help of everyone. So that kind of demarcation of the world into two power blocks will not happen. Under such circumstances, multi-alignment is a better solution. Rather than putting all your eggs in one basket, spread it out. Right? Now, strategic autonomy, who can maintain strategic autonomy? A country which has economically grown, which has political astuteness, which is adequate military power, they can only talk about autonomy. Strategic autonomy cannot be only a statement or just a goal. It has to be your capability to maintain the autonomy. At the moment, India is growing in that capability, not perfectly. Still, there are so many issues where we can face tremendous amount of time. So, at the same, that's why I've written somewhere, probably in my website. Strategic autonomy should not be a mantra, and it should not be repeated like a mantra, so that all your foreign policy and doctrines will be revolving around strategic autonomy. If national security is under threat, you should decide with whom you are going to side with to protect your territory integrity. If in the name of strategic autonomy you will not listen to anyone and do only whatever you want to do, then it may not be good for your own sustenance. So, I argue about this multi-alignment. On certain issues, we can be with America. On certain issues, not with America, but with Russia. On certain other issues, not with Russia or America, but with developing countries. So, like for example, the food crisis. Because of Ukraine, we had the food crisis. Americans imposed sanctions on Russia, but did not care about the hungry people in Africa. India spoke up, and we had grains, and we supplied. But later, when we did not supply to everyone, and only to selected countries, they complained, oh, India is very discriminatory. Then we argued that this discrimination is because of the machination or the conspiracy of Western allies who are taking Indian grain and selling it at a higher price to the same hungry people. It is in those countries we stop giving food aid. So that is why this multi-alignment should not, it would appear to be a kind of opportunist for us. But then who is not an opportunist? Everyone is an opportunist. You have to take advantage of the opportunity. To the extent possible, you do not hurt a country too much. But otherwise, you have to protect your interests.
So on the one hand, we have the Chinese spy vessels coming to Pagoda Port very recently, and then we heard about the military disengagement near a critical point in Ladakh being showcased as a very positive step on both the sides, and then followed up by the Shanghai summit where Modi attended it. How do we understand the whole situation one after the other following?
You see, again, Sri Lanka has become a little political football between China and India. Now, without India, Sri Lanka cannot survive. But only with India, Sri Lanka can survive. They need assistance from other countries. And China gives it. Now, when the shift came, we criticized Sri Lanka big slap on the face of China. They become very angry. We have given you the money, you have signed the agreement, we are supposed to run the port, and you are saying don't bring your ship. It's too much. But even then, जो भी थोड़ा सा लोग जो इनको tease them को हो गया. Along the border, China was actually testing the Indian capacity. They realized that it is not going to be a 62 anymore. So that is why this salami slicing practice they are adopting. So the reason why they view the group in understanding is because of the changes in the global level. Americans are now having bitter relations with them because of Taiwan. When India takes a position which appears to be strategic autonomy, Chinese become very happy because they think that India is not going to team up with USA. And partly, Xi Jinping is going to face the party congress, and he doesn't want too much of noise in this part of the world. Partly he was doing SEO, that's why he thought that it should not be a bigger exchange of words, but at least something has been done. But we will not talk too much about it. So it is basically diplomatic balancing that's going on. Nothing else, diplomatic balancing. China is next to us, America, the US says, fix the Chinese and we do it. We also lose in the process. So a lot of things are in the gray. Ultimately, our own strength is going to sustain us, nothing else.
Exportation is continuously we are looking at the resources.
Yeah.
India is no longer it has to increase it.
Right. Okay.
So China has started its largest ever military exercise around the Taiwan in the aftermath of the visit of the US Speaker Nancy Pelosi. It was also seen that the China's WZS soaring dragon drone spotted for the first time in the Taiwan Mays. So what's China wants to show to the world? That it want to blockade the Taiwan, or it's really waiting at the time when the Taiwan will prosper and it want to make itself the part of itself?
One is this party congress, because in spite of Chinese warnings, Nancy Pelosi visited. Now, a leader will always try to tell his own people that, look, I am the strong leader, elect me again. Cannot afford to falter in national security issues. So, that demonstration of force was mostly meant for the domestic Australians, not to America and others. So, the flexing of muscle in Taiwan state, partly a warning to Taiwan, things can get worse, and partly to its own domestic constituency. Elect me again, I am this country. And of course, again, by doing that, China also gave a warning to USA indirectly. All said and done, you issued 3 communiques. And now you don't allow any kind of peaceful annexation, and by supplying weapons, you are actually bolstering a regime which talks about independence. So it's very contradictory policy. If you do that, we are no longer China with 50 sensitivity, we have this power. We must do it. They have developed a capacity of A to AD, anti-access area denial capability. The American Navy cannot just enter anywhere they want anymore because of Chinese capacity.
Because they have Chinese Air Force, Navy, everything they, after the aftermath of the US speakers visit Nancy Pelosi, or the Chinese Navy, Air Force, all the Chinese have been spotted in the Taiwan.
Yeah, American बदमाश है ना. After that you think stop, उसके बाद फिर सेल घुस गए. And then some parliamentarians and some other country going. And then after that send a ship to go to Chinese waters. You know, they announced more aid, military aid to Taiwan. So Taiwan is a pressure point. Americans are using it as a pressure point. The moment you say pivot, and why do you think they're angry with India? Not because of this border. Dalai Lama is here, government maker is here, 100,000 Tibetans are here. You have no problem?
Is the one India policy indicated of one India policy?
Whose policy?
Sir, the
Akhil Bharat.
सर ना सर पीओके एंड ऑक्सीजन
हाँ।
हम तो हमारे मैप में देखा थे हम क्या वाल को प्रेशराइज कर सकते हैं कि वो भी हमारा पार्ट रिकॉग्नाइजेशन
अभी देखो, thank you star and Narendra Modi should thank his star that he appropriated Article 370 and the world is by and large silent. What is the bigger game than this? धीरे धीरे वो भी हो जाएगा। कैसे होगा? पाकिस्तान टुकड़ा टुकड़ा हो जाएगा। There will be Hindustan and Punjab and Pakistan. So, exciting वाला Nehru said exciting is an area where not a rate of gas growth. ऐसे सोचोगे तो कैसे बोलेगा? So, what was the need for Nehru to recognize Tibet as part of China and not accept covered lies offer? Exciting हमें दे दो, तुम पूरा अपना तो ले लो. And he said no. Problem तो इधर भी है ना. It's not only China came and attacked and went. Problem दोनों तरफ. But I'll not tell this to Chinese, you get problems. I'm telling you.